Please welcome Dr. Louis Deweaver, a cybersecurity consultant, an academic with more than 20 years of experience. With a doctorate in computer science and multiple degrees in cybersecurity, Dr. Deweaver is known for his critical perspective on security certifications, tools, and vendor claims. In today's talk, The Truth, the Whole Truth, and Nothing But the Truth About Cybersecurity, Dr. Deweaver takes us behind the curtain to explore common deceptions and harsh truths within the cybersecurity industry. From vendor exaggerations to misleading certifications, this session invites us to confront uncomfortable realities and come out more informed. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Louis Deweaver.
I'm also a lot of people not attending my talks because I'm a little controversial, especially when you're talking about the truth, because no one wants to hear the truth. This is me. Who am I? I mean, I've done everything. I'm a husband, a father, a brother, doctor of computer science, keynote speaker, ethical hacker, veteran, you name the title, SOB. Anything you throw at me, I am. We're going to go through a few disclaimers that my company makes me put up here because they're sick of the assistant and cease letters that they get daily from my talks. But any view I express here, these are my own views. These are not the views of my company MMA or its affiliates. This is for informational purposes only. And it should be taken not as professional advice. I am not responsible for any action you guys take using my material after you leave here. So let's get to the last one. I'm not responsible for any content, actions, or third parties mentioned in this talk. Because some of the vendors I mentioned in this talk are our actual customers. So if you look at cybersecurity in general, it's overcrowded. Anyone who ever go to Black Hat? Black Hat was so overcrowded with vendors that the market is just getting flooded with a lot of misinformation. What if I was to tell you right now that 98% of the vendors that are at Black Hat are selling you snake oil? You probably wouldn't believe me. But this is absolutely 100% true. The solutions don't work the way they say they work. And we're going to expose the top 5 companies, and I'm going to show you exactly why their products don't work. But the market is flooded. As you can see, in the last 10 years, cybersecurity has grown. The reason why cybersecurity has grown so big and so fast is because you have a lot of money from PE firms, private equity firms, investing money in cyber. But if you notice, no one's investing money in protection or prevention. It's all in detection and response. A smart young lady that works with me pointed that out to me. She said, why doesn't say anything about prevention? And when it talks about detect and respond. If we look at the big guys, you got Microsoft, Palo Alto, CrowdStrike, Fortinet. They own over 50% of this industry. Any other company that owned that much, we would have what we call, they would be broken up like AT&T. But it continuously, so anyone using any of those companies, up here, raise your hand if you're using any of those companies. Well, Microsoft, we'll take Microsoft out because everybody has Office. But anyone using Palo Alto, CrowdStrike, or Fortinet, raise your hand. You'll find out later why you're drinking the Kool-Aid. So, and I'll explain what that means. So cybersecurity, if you look at it, the top 12 vendors, they own the market. Everyone else is fighting for scraps. So if you ever deal with vendors, they call you all the time, they're trying to get you to buy. If you notice, you really need to vet vendors because what they'll do is they'll show you one thing and their products work another. And as we can see, Microsoft, Google, Cisco, IBM, we've all with some of the top investments made. But CrowdStrike and Microsoft, do you remember they had breaches? If you want to make money in the stock market, all you have to do is wait for a breach, buy the stock. It's called buy the breach. You can almost determine what's going to happen with a company after they get breached by the stock. Even though I'm talking all this trash about some of these companies up here, I bought their stock. And I want people to continue to use them because nobody listens to me, right? Nobody listens to cybersecurity talks. But these vendors are making money hand over fist even when they have a breach. Equifax and Marriott, look at their stock prices, has soared right after a breach. Look at all these companies up here. All of them were breached. And they're using some of the best cybersecurity vendors that this industry has to offer, and they still experience breaches because the software and the vendor software, they do not work. So let's figure out what pill you've taken. Anybody seen The Matrix? Red pill means you woke up, right? Blue pill means you're still asleep. So we're going to find out if you guys have taken a red or blue pill today. I say liar, liar, pants on fire. That's what I say about the cybersecurity vendors. I purposely went to several booths, and I talked to several different people, and not one time did they show me anything that was related to the truth. All of their displays were pre-made up. All of the data that they use look perfect. When you buy some of these products and you take them back, they don't work the way you think they should work. And certifications are useless. I know everybody in here who have certifications. I have none. And I'll tell you why. I'm not saying that you shouldn't get certifications. I'm telling you, if you're in this field or you're trying to break in this field, if someone wants you to have a certification to get a job, I would not apply for that job. Because there are probably people in this room right now who are smarter than the people who have the jobs. You just can't get in front of them. But before the end of my talk, I'm going to tell you how you can break into the industry. But you do need some type of education, maybe a boot camp or something. But guess what? Hackers don't have certifications. But yet they break into companies every day. But they want you to have a certification, but even the hackers don't have it. Something's wrong. I don't need to prove my abilities to a company. If they don't trust me, then I don't need to be working there. And I'll tell you, like I tell everybody at the end of my talk, if you're working for a company like that and they want you to go get certifications and they're not paying for you to get here, if you paid your ROA here today, you need to either reach out to me on LinkedIn or we need to talk because we need to find you another job. Because if your company is not paying for you to get trained, but yet they're buying this garbage and they want you to use it that's not working, and the first person that gets fired is you, I will help you find another job. I will spend sleepless nights. I will call every contact I have. I will get you another job. I've gotten over 200 people new jobs in this industry, and they've left their old companies. Because I refuse to sleep at night knowing that this stuff is going on. So, CISSP, CEH, hackers don't have these credentials. But we're going to talk a little bit about education is important. The whole reason I got my doctoral degree, I went to teach 100 people that applied for the job. Out of 100, I did a test teach. They hired me on the spot. And he said, sir, we need you to send your transcripts. And I told him at that time I didn't have a degree. And he told me, well, we can't hire you. After I outperformed 100 people, they told me I couldn't have the job because I didn't have a degree. So you know what I did? I went to school and I didn't stop till I got a doctoral degree. But let me tell you something about having knowledge and going to school. I didn't open one book in my associates, my bachelor's, or my master's degree. I did not open one book and I got a 4.0. because I already knew the material. So if you need a piece of paper, yes, you can go to school. But did school help? Absolutely. I was a college professor. And I think about it this way. If you're going to the doctor tomorrow, and you have one doctor that passed a multiple choice test, and he got his doctor's certificate, and you have someone that's gone to school for years or has experience for years performing operations, which one do you want to perform operation on you? This is why certifications can be useless. Because you can pass a multiple choice test. But really doing the work, I will hire somebody just because they have a lab in their home before I hire somebody and say, oh, I got all these certifications, they can't do the work. So if that's you, you can always get someone to help you. And if you can't find anybody, I will take the time. I was a college professor, I can teach people anything. But if you see in the market today, it's us versus them. It's black hat versus white hat versus gray hat, because this is what the cybersecurity vendors want you to do. They want you to think it's us against them. But it's them against us. Because all the vulnerabilities that you're experiencing today are coming from the vendors. Back in the day, if I wanted to hack into, yes, I haven't always been ethical, but if I wanted to hack into a company, I'd have to hack one computer after the next, after the next, after the next. Not anymore with these vendors. All I have to do is compromise the vendor, and I'm in. I can take the whole company out. If you don't believe me, then we just experienced an outage, half the world went out. You can get addicted to solutions. Back in the day, or opioids, they say less than 1% of patients become addicted. We know that's not true. Marketing pays, and these companies have a lot of marketing. Remember back in the day about cigarettes? Doctors smoked Camel cigarettes. Cigarettes still gave you cancer, but you can smoke it just because the doctors did. This is what the cybersecurity vendors are doing. They're really good at marketing. If you work for a company and one of these big companies release any of the marketing people, tell your company to hire them. Because if they can sell something that doesn't work, just imagine what you can do with something that does. Remember they said, start vaping. It's better than cigarettes. It's more dangerous. Vaping is dangerous, but it's all about advertisement. And what else do we have? We have experts that are a Gartner. Whenever a cybersecurity vendor tells me on the Gartner list, then I don't even want to use them. Gartner is useless. They've been bought and paid for years ago. Some of these consulting firms, what they'll do is they're in bed with the companies that are selling the products, and what happens is they always make a recommendation for whoever is giving them the most money. Cybersecurity is not about prevention. Prevention does not pay. Breaches do. Whenever you experience a breach, more people have to come in. That's more money to spread amongst everyone. Now you have to have remediation. You can prevent real easy, and I'm going to get to that. Something's not right. And we look at September 11th, and we look at what happened in July, the big outage. I'm not going to say the company because they're playing the virus. Look at the pattern. I know I'm going to get in trouble with me. I already went too far, so I'm going to go a little bit further, a little bit later, you'll see. So, if you look at the outage map, it's exactly the same. Coincidence or not? 9/11, CrowdStrike outage. Vendors that say their solution needs kernel level access is bullshit. If you give them kernel level access, they have complete access to your computer, and you might as well just throw that computer in the garbage. So when we're talking about kernel level, we're talking about they control everything down to your processor. If you have a solution like that, you need to remove it immediately. I'm not a big fan of, Elon Musk, but one thing I do like about him, after that big outage, he pulled it out. He didn't even have another solution. He said, I'm done with this company. And that's what we need to do. So about advertisement, right? If any guys in here and you're married, guess what they say? You don't love your spouse if you haven't spent at least 2 months' salary on the wedding ring. Right? But why? Diamonds are not even the most precious stone. Guess what? Because there are more diamonds than there are rubies and other things. Because it's good marketing. We're paying for a piece of glass. Now, I'm not telling you guys, remember I told you don't take my advice and go buy your spouse a piece of glass. And say what Lewis said, I shouldn't have to spend my money. Dr. Deweaver said, that's not what I'm telling you. What I'm telling you, see how good they are at marketing? It's called fear, uncertainty, and doubt. I call it FUD. That's what they're using. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt to sell you the products that they're selling. So let's look at some of the top cybersecurity vendors. Hopefully nobody knows who that is. Falcon, nobody knows, right? Okay. But anyway, they have over 1,000 Stiller logs. That company. 5,000 Stiller logs. They have over 1,000 for sale. Their employees, 1,000 plus Stiller logs. Their employees have 953 credential leaks, and they're mentioned on the dark web 34 times. That's probably HR calling me and telling me I don't have a job. But anyway. But if you look at the same companies that's saying that we can prevent breaches, why do they have Stiller logs? You know, are they using their product? See, I always get them to catch 22. I'll go up to their booth and say, excuse me, but I noticed that you had Stiller logs. And I'll show them. I said, are you using your product and it's just that bad, or are you not using it because it's just that bad? So they can't win. Here's another one. Not too bad. They got 19 Stiller logs, 15 employee leaks, which is third-party sites. I'll explain in a second. 555 of the employees have been leaked. 2 mentions on the dark web. And I blocked it out a little bit because this is their actual test data. The other company I showed you, well, hopefully you guys don't know what Falcon is. So here's another company, Cisco. Cisco don't care. Because I think they hired a hitman to kill me anyway, so they don't care if I reveal their stuff. But look how bad Cisco is. If you're using Cisco, guess what? Cisco.com, if you log on to it, has Stiller logs on that server. So every time you log on it, your credentials are going to the dark web on the Russian market and being sold. So if you have any Cisco account. And why are they not seeing this? Because the Russian hackers who have infected these machines are so smart that they've made their Stiller malware so stealthy it's not detected. It can use a web browser, whatever it needs to send those credentials out. And these are the companies that are protecting us every day. Microsoft is so bad. They have over 5,000 plus. So this means if you have Office and you're going online, your credentials have been stolen. If you signed up for a Microsoft account, your credentials have been stolen. If you have an admin account on Microsoft, your credentials have been stolen. And they can be purchased, and hackers don't have to hack you anymore. They can just log in. And if you use an MFA, hopefully you've disabled legacy authentication. But if you can go to Outlook, Office, Microsoft.com, that means I can log in most of the time without MFA. Fortinet, firewall company, right? If you go to Fortinet.com, all of their customers is SSO. So if you have your internal network connected through SSO, those credentials are out on the dark web. So here's Gartner's Magic Quadrant. So if you believe in Gartner's Magic Quadrant and you use it to determine what products you bought, you've taken the blue pill. They have challengers, leaders, visionaries, and niche players. You have to pay to get up there. You'll never move unless you give them money. So I came up with my own Magic Quadrant. So are you a sucker? Are you buying some of these products? Or you're bandits? See, it starts off with them saying they do certain things and they're stealing from you. So they're bandits. Then you got the helpless people who have no clue because they don't vet vendors correctly. And some of the helpless people are the same people that cannot attend conferences. And then you have the intelligent people that say, I'm not going to use this BS because it doesn't work anyway. So, you know how we fix it? Go back to basics. Back in the day, what do? We monitored network traffic. We looked at packets, we looked at net flows, and we saw when someone was trying to laterally move. But guess what? The vendors are not even monitoring true east-west traffic. You know what they're monitoring? Everything but. Why? Because they want you to get breached. Because they make money off of breaches. They do not make money off of prevention. But there are good vendors. I'm not anti-vendor, I'm anti-truth. And when someone lies to you, it not only hurts you, but it hurts everybody else. Because let me tell you, if you have a false sense of security, you work for a company, you get breached. It does just not affect the company. It affects people, it affects people's kids, their families, when that company goes out of business. So these vendors should be ashamed of themselves for selling this garbage, and then you go to work every day, and then you wake up one morning and you don't have a job because you got hit with ransomware. They could have been detected and prevented because somebody wants to put money on their bottom line. So this is why these cybersecurity vendors keep growing. But you need to do what? You need to vet them. If you're having a problem vetting them, reach out to me and we'll just run and see if they have any Stiller logs. So I think that's the end of my slides. But now I'm going to get personal. The reason why I travel around the country, my company pays for it. The young lady that works for me, she's here. Any conference I go to, she goes to. I'm making sure she gets training. She doesn't have to come out of her pocket now $1. She has a company card, the same company card I have. If your company is not paying for you to go to training, that's a problem. And if you got a boss that won't pay, give me their phone number. I'll call them. I'll say F you and hang up. And when you're in a meeting, they say, somebody just called me and said F you and hang up. You know it was me. And I'm being serious. It's time out for us as cybersecurity professionals to be at, to depend on cybersecurity vendors. Companies need to understand, and I don't only talk at cybersecurity conferences, I talk at other conferences. I'm going to talk at a trucking conference, staffing conference. I've been all over the country talking at every single industry conference. And some of them are listening, and some of them aren't. But we turn the page on them and we see that they've been breached. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if these products were so good, you wouldn't see the breaches you're seeing. And I'm going to tell you something else, you might not like me for it. But if you're phishing your people, stop doing phishing attacks. They do not work. You might say, yeah, they work. We dropped it down from 10%, now we're at 3%. Guess what? Phishing keeps going up, and everybody's doing testing. So what does that mean? It does not work. Let me tell you why phishing training is useless. If you're phishing your employees, first of all, you got to open a port to let the phishing emails in. And then you got to trick them into thinking that these emails are legitimate. And then you're crucifying them when they click on a phishing email, like they've done something wrong. And then you make them go through training, and you wonder why people hate us in IT and cyber. Why don't you just prevent the email from getting to the email box? Because that's what our job is. Not to fish people. And what if I was to tell you right now there's a solution out there where you can prevent those emails from getting in the email box, and it's cheaper than doing phishing testing? Your body's like, I've never heard of it. You know why? Because they're so good at marketing that you'll never hear about those companies. And once those companies mature and start getting popular, they will buy them and they will fire everybody. I just had friends of mine get fired. Their company got purchased. They all got laid off. After this big announcement we're merging, cyber is the only industry that's not regulated. No antitrust, so you can just keep buying companies. You can keep growing to the point that you can completely take control of the market. But that's some of our fault, because we don't need to buy these products. We can go back to basics. But we're all under pressure. I don't know about anybody in here, but I'll tell you what. I had imposter syndrome so bad that I wouldn't even do a cybersecurity talk. Because I was in a job, probably like you're in jobs, and nobody listens to you. You go and tell them you found something, nobody will listen to you. So it gives you a false sense of security, even at your own job. And you don't think that you have the skills or the abilities. Maybe you're here for your first time, you see all these hackers, they're using all these programs, and you can't compete in this is why you come to conferences. I learned more at these conferences than I did in my degree program. But the degrees teach you structure. They teach you how to learn. But you don't have to be at the mercy of any vendor, and you don't have to be at the mercy of any organization that's not paying for you to get trained. And if there are any CISOs in the room, and you're here and your people aren't, shame on you. They're back in the trenches, and you're enjoying yourself. I'm going to tell you, a lot of CISOs get invited to dinners. They even got something called Cruise Con. They're taking a cruise, getting people drunk because they want you to buy their product. We went to vendor parties, I was drunk, I could barely walk. You know, like, okay, am I going to buy this product because they got me drunk? Nope. Thank you for the alcohol. I'll go to the next party. But that's how they try to trap you. But you have to be smarter than them. And I'm not saying some of these vendors aren't good. Vet them. Make them do a POC. If they want to do a POC, you don't even need to need. A lot of times they'll make excuses. Oh, you don't need to do that or do this. But I can tell you, you can run it all day. And if you're not monitoring your east-west traffic, true east-west traffic and your switch, your net flows, you're never going to see what I just showed you. And it's getting so easy. If you're in cyber, it's just really easy to do things. Anybody ever heard of Shodan? Anybody use Shodan in here? It's very easy to find a victim, and I'm just going to show you how people are found. I use Shodan, and I look for everybody right now that's infected with ransomware and that had a picture on the internet, and I found 38. 38 people that have gotten compromised today, and there's even pictures of their screens right on the internet. It's so easy to get breached. And here's our buddies. They're still out there. Oops, I probably should have wiped that out, but it's on the internet, I'm sorry. But they've even gotten worse. But there are tools out there, and if you talk to me today, I'll get you these tools. It's like MX Toolbox. You should always use it. You can look up any domain. I'll look up my old university and see if they're doing good. You can look up anybody and see if they have their MX records set up correctly. Because if you don't have your MX records set up correctly, you're going to have issues. Your MX record, see, thank God I'm fencing in. But if you don't have a simple DMARC policy, then people can send you phishing emails or they can spoof your domain. Just one simple setting. It's not that easy to do cyber. I'm going to tell you how you can do cyber easy. 90% of cybersecurity is policy. People guys say, no, you know what you're talking about. 90% of cybersecurity is policy. You make a policy, you enforce it. Somebody breaks it, you give them a couple chances, you fire them. If you're not, you're going to continue to be vulnerable. You have to get rid of your weakest links. No one should have access to their company files on their personal computers. This is why stealer laws will never go away unless you go passwordless. Because even if you have all the security in the world and you allow somebody to get to their email externally and they're infected with stealer logs, which probably 90% of the population is, those credentials are going to get stolen. That malware's only job is to steal those credentials and send it to the bad actor. That's it. Nothing else. It doesn't even act like a virus. But this is why we have to be careful. And we have to take back control of cybersecurity. A lot of people depend on AI. I'm not even going to get in that. That's another talk. But AI is good, but it's so dangerous. It's not regulated. And guess what? We're so far behind. The bad actors are using it every day. We're never going to catch up with them, ever. And to say to fight AI with AI, that just sounds crazy, right? Now, people say fight fire with fire. That means you set a backfire, so when the fire reaches it, it goes out. But you can't fight AI with AI. Because the same AI you're trying to use to fight the AI, they've already compromised your AI, and they're using it against you. So what are you going to use, the same thing? There's a company that lost all of their data messing around with AI. It deleted their database. Everything. The reason why AI is advancing, because everybody is just another attack vector. Every company says that they're using all these vendors, and it's just making you more vulnerable. Think about it for a second. You take your network, you take all of these tools away, you just monitor your east-west traffic, and you'll see that the vendors that you're using are causing your vulnerabilities. Because that's what they're using to get in. So if you're using some of these vendors, good. If I ever lose my morals and become a bad actor, I'm going to look you up first. My parents gave me morals. But just to give you a backdrop, I've been doing hacking since I was a kid. My first hack was photocopying money, which the statute of limitations run out. And I used to empty quarters out of laundromats and also car washes. Because back in the day, the scanners were really bad. You could photocopy money and get it out. That's how I learned how to play video games. And a young lady worked for me. She thought she could beat me, but I dogged her out playing video games. That's another story. But anyway, that's how I started. Then the vending machine codes. I used to make all the things turn. By shoulder surfing, watching a guy fill the machine up, and he would put a code to test it. I'm like, we would go put the code. Hacking, anybody can be hacked. People can be hacked. If you don't believe me, if you fish somebody, you pretty much hacked them. But what we can do is we can start being proactive instead of reactive. And you can start really vetting vendors, and you will find out that you will get better at cybersecurity. But if you're dependent on the vendors, you're already behind. If you're trusting that just because my employee logged in, they are who they say they are, you already have lost. If you're trusting, trust is a vulnerability. We have to get back to the basics. And if you do that, you're just going to get better. And don't ever think that you don't have a good skill level because somebody else is more advanced. Go up to that person and ask them. That's how my skills have increased. I'll ask somebody. You're at a hacking conference. We're family. We help each other. It's not like the other. It's not like Black Hat that we just came from. They're all about themselves. But at the hacking conference, we're all about other hackers, and we will spend the time to show you. And if I don't know it, I'll find somebody that does. Or I'll point you to a resource. Or I'll give you a free book. Because this community cares about everybody. No color, creed, we don't care. But let's just be honest. The world is not always for us. Being African American in this industry sometimes is not the best thing. I've had people not take my advice because they just think that I'm beneath them. That's why I got my doctoral degree. So I can just tell them, oh, when they got their master's degree, I'm like, but I have a doctorate, and you just have a master's. Sometimes I have to go there. Or one client, I won't say their name, they hired a relative. So me and my associate were on the phone, talking about our services. Oh, we don't need it. We're going to let them do it. So while we were on the phone, we looked it up. They had still logs. And I pretty much told them, you need to change your password because it's blah, blah, blah. But you don't need us. But when you do, when you get hacked or when you get fired and you go to your next job, call me and I'll make sure that that doesn't happen to you. And sometimes that's how you have to do people. But if anybody's worried about their own company, you know, we'll run a report for you guys for free to see if you're vulnerable. And we'll help you. Because I don't want to see anybody get fired for something simple. But just be smart about your cybersecurity. Make sure you're getting trained properly. Because who in here, before I mention it, knew what a still log malware was? One person. Because that's my partner. We've been getting y'all while y'all been in here. Good job. We got a whole bunch of money doing this talk. This is what I do. No, but anyway, if you didn't know about it, it's a shame. I found out about still log malware from going to a talk at a small conference, and I didn't even understand what it was. So I sat down with this Russian student, and he showed me some stuff that scared me. I could not believe that all of these people were infected, all of these companies were infected, and nobody had any clue. But if I had never gone to that conference, I would have never seen it. I would have never known about it. That's why if your company is not actively helping you to promote yourself, you need to go somewhere else. And don't believe the lies that there are not 3 million jobs in cyber. These magazines and people, they need to quit it. They need to stop it. There are a lot of jobs, but you're not 3 million jobs. But it's not what you know, it's who you know. Somebody could open the door for you. I've opened the door for many people. I have a student that went through my program that the company that gave us the money for the grant for me to do it, they gave her a job. So make friends, because you never know, you might be talking to your next boss. Because I'm actively recruiting. I always go to these conferences because I'm building a list of people that I can hire. And I'm gonna put her on Front Street, and she's probably gonna be mad at me. But the young lady that I hired, no degree, no certificates. She only went to a boot camp. And I would put her up against 90% of the people that's doing this job in a CISO or above level, and she'll run circles around them. Because she's learning. And she doesn't even think that she has a skill level, but she does. But see, that's what happens when you don't believe in yourself. For years, I struggled, but no more. When somebody told me, why don't you do talks? I'm like, I don't think I'm good as these guys. But most of the people that are doing talks at Black Hat, they pay $50,000 or more to get on their stage. And then they're only talking about what their products, of course. Then you go over there for capture the flags, their capture flag is based on what? Their products. And what do you start doing? Learning their products. Cisco was very smart in school. Most of us that went to college, we learned Cisco. And guess what we did? We got out, we bought Cisco. Because they gave us free training. They were smart. It's just good marketing. But you don't have to get caught in the same trap. If you really listen to people and you listen to these talks and you apply yourself, get your own lab, you can advance your skills so much more. You are so much smarter than you think you are, but you're looking at people that have been doing this for a long time and you're comparing yourself. Never do that. Everybody in this room, if you came to this conference, you're trying to get better at what you do. And you only have to want it. But if you don't think you're as good, then you're not going to be that good. You should say to yourself, I can do anything. I can become anything in this field, and you'll do it. Because that's what I did. I said I wanted to be the best at what I did with consulting. And I'm much more than just this talk. And you guys are much more than just this conference or any conference, or the people who are telling you that you can't do the job or they're not giving you the chance. Every turn down you get, an application you put out, good. It's going to build character because you don't want to work there anyway. If they can't see your skills, but you know what? Track them. But when they get breached, you do your happy dance. Because if they would have hired you, you could have prevented it. I dance all the time. If y'all see me dancing in the halls because somebody got boots and didn't hire me a long time ago. And I look crazy. I know I look crazy just dancing for no reason. But if you ever see me dancing for no reason, you know it. Because they need you. You don't need them. But the more you don't think you got the skills, the more someone keeps you there. Because think about it for a second. If you're not getting the training, but you're doing the job, they must need you. Because if they don't need you, take a month off and see what happens to that company. When they don't got no, everybody from IT just walk out. We're taking a month off. But I tell you, if you're using some of those tools, and this is why I bring it up, and they're not seeing you the training, something is wrong. Because they're depending on those tools more than they are you. And if they got rid of half of that garbage, you could go to every conference known to man. But see, prevention doesn't pay. But as soon as they get breaching, they're like, you can go to this conference, you go to that conference, it's too late. But I'll open up for questions. Now I know I went off script because I always go off script because I never stick to a schedule or anything else. People hate me. But go ahead. Anybody got any questions, comments, concerns, complaints? Anybody working for a vendor and I said something, it wasn't personal. You know, at my last conference, I did have someone come up from a vendor saying, oh, we do POCs and all this stuff. I was not directly talking to them. I do not hate vendors because I'm making money off of them. But I do hate anti-truth. And if they're lying to you, that means they're lying to me. Because we're a family. I consider everybody in this room my family. So you know what that means? You can reach out to me and I'll help you. If you don't know how to do something and I don't know how to do it, I will find it. If you don't have the skill level to get a job, you need something to build your resume, you reach out to me, I will find you free training. I know a lot of people in this industry. I will use every single solitary source to help you. I know billionaires in this industry who own companies that will help people even go to conferences. But what I don't want you to do is sit at a dead-end job and think you have nobody to go to since you decided to come here, whether it's your first time or not. You have a family. You have a hacker family. And we're big and we're strong, and we will help you. All you have to do is ask. So anybody, any questions? I don't promote this company, but there is a company called Lumu, and it's made of ex-military people who have worked at all these vendors for years, and they just got frustrated. But what it does, it only looks at metadata. I'm going to tell you, when you use big companies, I'm not going to throw their names, and they're monitoring your network, they're always going to charge you by net flow. That means all your data that's going through your network, they want to monitor it. Because you're talking about terabytes of data, you're talking about a lot of money. Lumu only monitors metadata. So it's non-intrusive, it doesn't slow down your machine, and it has collectors, and it absolutely looks at every single piece of traffic that goes through your network, even your net flows that are going through your switches. So it takes that data and it compares it to the MITRE ATT&CK framework, and it looks for every way that an adversary will try to breach you, because it's already mapped out, the MITRE ATT&CK framework. So when it sees that, it'll block it. So for Stiller logs, it's going to see that you have data going out through a web browser, but it's credentials, and it's going to question it. And then it's going to ask a human, not an AI engine, and then you have the ability to determine to stop it or not. Because right now, how can you stop someone from encrypting files if they have the ability to do it? They have the credentials. You can't. But with something like Lumu, it's going to see that you're trying to encrypt it, even though you have the credentials to do it, it's still going to question it, because that's exactly what a bad actor does. So if someone's compromised your computer and they're trying to encrypt files because you have their permissions and they have now taken control of your permissions, it's still not going to let them do it until somebody says it's okay. So that's how we have to get. And I'm not going to get on zero trust. My dissertation was on it, but zero trust is where we have to move. We have to take trust out of networks, because guess what? It should have never been included. Trust is a human emotion. I can trust you, you can trust me, but computers can't trust us, AI or not. And it's not AI's machine learning. When it turns to AI, we need to all get on the space shuttle and get the hell out of here, because this we're completely done. When it really, if it ever turns into that, but I don't think it will. Not in my lifetime anyway. You young people, you're in trouble. But any more questions? Any questions? I hope that answers your question. Yeah.
Sorry. I brought something to show you. You said you like friends, making friends. Whomever I talk to, they say you need to go to psych ward.
Huh?
Yeah, because they just don't understand. They're clueless. Even the FBI is clueless. They need to not only go through boot camp, but they got to go through boot camp here.
Yeah.
Okay? I learned the hard way. And I'd love to talk to you later. I don't know if you
Absolutely.
I brought suitcase.
Absolutely.
Okay? I don't want to say anything.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
But I'm going to tell you, she's exactly right. We had an FBI come to one of our events, our company events, and she talked, because, you know, we deal with cybersecurity insurance, and she talked about all of this stuff about, you know, how to stay safe and the bad actors they're monitoring and everything. So, me being me, looked up on the dark web, and guess what I found? Her credentials. So I asked her a simple question, Miss FBI lady, does the FBI allow you to use your .gov email address for personal reasons? She said, absolutely not. I said, then you might want to go to your Facebook, your PayPal, and your insurance company and change the passwords. If you want me to give them to you, I will, because you use your FBI credentials. I'm surprised she didn't arrest me. But she knew nothing about Stiller logs. FBI, and she's in their cybercrime unit. So that will tell you. They're not more informed than you are. They just start participating in conferences like this. The OECD was here 2 years in a row, but because of the change in administrations, they're not here. They had a nice challenge. I won their badge 2 years in a row. And I'm not a coder. I can't write code. But you know what I can do? I can get on GitHub and I can take code and manipulate it because I know Python. You don't have to be a genius at this stuff, but you do have to. There's videos out there. I got a bag full of hacking tools that I learned how to use from watching YouTube videos. I'm unlocking car doors. I'm doing all kind of stuff. Everybody's doing it. A little kid can do it. So anyone can learn. You don't have an excuse not to learn. You're your only roadblock. And if you don't know what to do or how to put it together, I was a college professor. I will help you. I don't care if everybody in this room asks me to help them. We'll set some time aside. I spend my weekends on the phone with people doing boot camp stuff, showing them how to spin up virtual machines, showing them how to do capture the flag competitions. It's easy. All the old capture the flag competitions are out there on the internet. You just download it, you download a walkthrough, and you keep doing walkthroughs until you learn the tools. So then when you come here, it's like, man, all you do is you use Kali. You're going to use Directory Buster to do this. You're going to use Nmap because you've done it. But practice makes perfect. All the old competitions are out there on the internet. I can show you where to find them. Vulnerable virtual machines. Spin it up, get a walkthrough, and keep doing it. And you'll get proficient. Because it doesn't take a lot to learn. It's only the time that you want to give it. You know, stop watching TV an hour a day. Me, if I can't hack something, I usually don't buy it. And I purposely, when I look at something I want, I'll go and see if somebody hacked it already before I even buy it. But any more questions? Yeah.
How do you break your vendor habits?
It's hard because they give you a lot of drinks. But how you break the vendor habit is you have to train yourself to do a couple of things. First of all, don't ever believe anything they say. If you really have a vendor that you think is good, do a POC. Actually have them put it in your environment and see if it works the same way. Or you just have to stop going to the vendor parties. But, you know, I'm hooked on the vendor parties. I don't even lie to you. You know. But I'm going to tell you something else, too, which I shouldn't probably tell you. Well, I'll tell you afterwards. But because it's being recorded, right, maybe I'll ask them to cut this part out. Will y'all cut this part out? And I tell them. But anyway, it's been known for years, but you can get VIP access to any vendor party. The cybersecurity companies, right? All you have to do is look at the HTML code and look for the code you need to enter because they're creatures of habit. It's right there in the HTML code, and then you enter it, and then you get VIP. That's how I've been doing it for years. But don't go out there doing it because you can do it for websites too, for getting discounts. This is why I wear a polo, because I get 25% off. Because when it asks for a coupon, all you have to do is find it in the HTML code and enter the coupon, and you can get the discount. You really shouldn't do that. Now I told my secret polo won't get me next time I'm going there. Thanks, people. But anyway, anymore. But yeah, you just got to stop going to these parties. But it's never going to happen, so we probably just got to stop drinking or something. I don't know. That's a good question, though. See, I can't answer something. I don't know everything. I'm hooked on the vendors, too. Only their parties and their alcohol, but some shirts and stuff, because I don't have to buy any shirts.
Hi, sir. Thank you. So I'm entry level to cybersecurity, and I have a child development background. So my goal is child cybersecurity through gaming or ed tech. So my question is, which sector should I focus my attention on? Is it policy? Is it privacy? Is it trust and safety? Or should I just focus on gaming? I'm trying to find like where I belong, you know?
I can't make that determination for you, but it just depends. Anybody, believe it or not, being a technical writer and doing policies is important. That's one of the most important things. But what's your interest? What do you think that you want to do? Because you have to make the determination, because I'm going to tell you, there's so many different avenues, but we can sit down and I'll get more information, I can help you, but there's so many avenues, but you don't have to be a pen tester if you're not good at doing that sort of thing. You can be a policy writer, you can just be a threat hunter, believe it or not, you can use something like the MITRE ATT&CK framework, you can learn it, and you can be a threat hunter because you'll understand how bad actors attack. You can learn things like the OSI model, which is networking. You can learn at every layer what's happening in the network, from the application layer all the way down to the physical layer. So there's things you can do. There's certain things you can learn that'll make you better than half the people in this industry. And it doesn't take a lot, but you have to learn the basics. You need to understand the OSI model. You need to understand threat hunting, really, which is the MITRE ATT&CK framework, and then there are other tools and things that you can do. Because I'll tell you right now, I use a bunch of free tools on the internet all the time to find a bunch of stuff. I do pay for Showdown, but I use what's out there. Because you know what, when you come up to somebody or a client, I don't need to pay the vendors to use their stuff. I can probably hack it anyway and get a free copy, but you know, I try to be right. But we'll talk afterwards. And I'll help you with direction. Anybody else? Well, continue to increase your skills, and you're going to have to go somewhere else if they're not listening. There was a young lady in here earlier from, I think, the IoT village that's looking for somebody to work from home, a pen tester. She's here today. And if you go in the back, the young lady in the back, or I think she left her information with the village, go over there and talk to her, because she was actively recruiting here. But it's kind of hard. It's a catch-22. When they don't want to listen, don't get depressed. Learn what you can learn, and reach out to me or whatever, and find another job, because somebody else going to value your opinion. Just like the job I got now, they're going to have to carry me out of the casket. I ain't going nowhere. And it's kind of bad because that young lady is waiting for me to retire so she can take over. I told her she going to have to kill me to get this job. bite just killed me too, y'all. So if I don't make it to my next talk, y'all make sure y'all call the police on that young lady because she had me killed. I wonder why she always told me you want something to drink and she always bringing it to me. She done poisoned me already. I'm probably dying now. But yeah, you know, I like to make fun, but there's nothing funny about when you don't feel good about your job. I stayed in a dead-end job for too long. And I learned that I was valuable to somebody. And this company I work for now, they value my opinion. Sometimes I think they phony because because I'm not used to it. But if that's you, please don't let anybody step on you like this young man, because it can make you seem like you don't want to do the job, you're all stressed about it, or you start questioning your skills. And that's when you start just going down that downward spiral. So that's why I'm here to help. I mean, reach out. You just need to talk. You can call me anytime. Maybe in the middle of the night, my wife will be, who is that on the phone? That sounds like a young lady, like she was at the conference. You lied. Well, see, my wife already knows. Please don't call me at 3 o'clock in the morning. I might get in a little bit of trouble. Maybe 2:30-ish. But anyway, any more questions, comments, concerns, complaints? Remember, don't go back talking, tell your boss, F you. Let me do that. But yeah, if you're not happy with where you're at, I mean, we can connect on LinkedIn, and I will help you find another gig. Because there's nothing like working in a dead-end job, because I did it for so long, because I question my skills, and I don't want anybody else to feel like that. That's why I would dedicate all my free time to helping you achieve your goals. And that's my promise to you. And I don't break promises. Only to my kids and my wife. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate you. And hopefully you enjoy the rest of the conference.